Well, most
You
of
just,
them. Most
as
of them.
long as you get the right guys doing it that have that, in the Metro Pro Wrestling that I mentioned,
Yes.
we we've got a really cool storyline that went all last year. It started on the December show of 2014. And again, they have a show every other month. So basically 6 shows last year. But there was a guy, our Metro Pro champion, Jeremy Wyatt, not related to the Wyatt family.
Yes.
Excellent wrestler. I've never seen the guy in a bad match, and that's being very literal. He is. I'm amazed he never got out of the Indies. But anyway, he was in a match against the other guy. Derek Stone was his name, and the referee gets knocked out. You know, the whole referee knocked out scenario.
Ref bump.
So Jeremy Wyatt, he's going for the pin, and then out comes the guy that he didn't actually announce it then, but on the following show that he is the new president of Metro Pro Wrestling. He's a former wrestler. Of course, he's going to be the bad guy president. But he came out in this match. He came out in a ref shirt, and we didn't know he was going to be playing bad guy yet. At the time, we still had viewed him as a good guy.
Oh, yes.
And he came out, and he had the ref shirt on, and Jeremy White was going for the pin, and he counted 1, 2, and then stopped and just looked at Jeremy Wyatt and just stared at him. And then Wyatt, of course, gets up, and Wyatt's like, what in the hell are you doing? But this created this whole scenario that went all last year where now the guy is the president of the company, quote unquote, in character.
Yes.
And he made the speech about how, and this is just, again, kind of showing how this one simple thing turned into the feud, and it's not a convoluted storyline. He came out and basically said, well, Jeremy White, he's about ready to hang up the boots, which he really is. Jeremy White's been wrestling locally and on indie for like 15 years.
Yes.
So he says, well, I'm trying to watch out for him. It's like we had to get the belt off of him because he has to work so many dates and his body can't take it. And so the next time he loses, he's going to be fired. But it's for his own good. It's one of those kind of bad guy things.
Oh, God.
So all year long, all 6 of those shows, when they bring in like a special guest to these indie shows and anybody who goes to indie wrestling, sometimes you try to get big names in if you can. And the thing hanging over his head the whole time is the next match you lose, you're going to be fired.
So in other words, he found different ways to win and keep his career going.
Yes.
Based on the premise that if he lost, it would be over.
And it all started just from that one match where he lost the title to the other guy because not known by the fans, that he was going to be a president character, because he came out and just did the 2 count and just stopped counting and was like, nope, you didn't win yet. It just evolved into that.
See, now that's you can't, it's simple. I like it.
Yeah, and of course Jeremy Wyatt was pissed off at him because he lost the title as a result of him only counting 2, and then the other guy, of course, hitting the move and scoring the win about a minute or 2 later.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, you don't have to get all these convoluted who's sleeping with who and all this, and I mean, oh God. And once in a while, maybe there can be a little something if you have a good female wrestler type character or something. That Attitude Era was just loaded with it, and I hated it.
Mm-hmm. I liked it for what it was, just because I was a kid, but still, some of the storylines in retrospect really didn't make sense. But I like the ideas, but I just didn't.
God, who was it? Mae Young gave birth to a hand?
Oh, God, don't remind me of that one. And then, let's not forget, I can't even.
Are you going to say it?
No, go ahead and tell them.
What were you going to say?
I was about to say it, but then I forgot.
Well, I was going to say Katie Vick.
That was actually later, but still.
That was horrible.
Necrophilia? Really? Really? Oh, God. And then there were some storylines, and this was in the Ruthless Aggression era. Now, that's great wrestling. Or a combination of the two. But I think my favorite, really quickly, would have to be Eddie Guerrero and Big Show, and the storyline was that Big Show was, attacked Eddie Guerrero on the previous show, and then he punks him out. And then later on, a guy delivering burritos comes into Big Show's locker room. Big Show takes the thing of burritos, eats one of them, and then just eats them all. Or apparently that's how the storyline went. And then when Big Show had his match, his stomach was not feeling too good, and
God.
And then, as you can imagine, Big Show had to stop what he was doing, get out of the ring, and go to the bathroom and get counted out and lose the match.
Oh my Lord.
And as if that was not bad enough, we go to the bathroom, and Big Show is going number 2 and just shitting in the toilet. And then Eddie Guerrero is like, "Oh my God, something just crawled up in you and died." and then Eddie Guerrero reveals that his cousin Jose was the one that had the burritos, and that Eddie Guerrero put some special sauce, the kind that makes your stomach churn.
Oh my Lord.
and then Eddie, revealed that, well, on camera he had the toilet paper. He was like, "Now, Big Show, what are you gonna do to wipe your ass?" And he's like, and then Big Show, realizing it in the stall, you can't see him because the stall covers him.
Well, yeah, you don't want to show that necessarily. Although I wouldn't put a past him.
No, he says no, and he's like, "There's no toilet paper in here. What happened to the toilet paper, man? Don't do this to me, Eddie." Oh no, I'm sorry, man. Hey, and then, but you know what? I got something that you can wipe your butt on. And then he kicks the door, the stall door. And then Big Show looks like he was about to do something to rip apart Eddie. But then his stomach just churns again, and he has to just like, and then he has to go back into the toilet and continue to shit.
Oh my Lord.
And then the last thing that Eddie Guerrero says, and I'll never forget it, he says, "Montezuma ain't got nothing on Mon Guerrero."
Oh God.
And then Big Show just continues to finish taking a shit, and it was just funny as hell.
Wow. Now, that's one thing I miss about. I remember there was a thing with Big Show at one point where he was coming out like dressing up like other people, like he came down like Hulk Hogan.
Yes, I remember. That was funny.
It's like, why not let the Big Show be funny? Because he can do comedy. He is a funny guy.
Yeah, and he can be serious when he needs to be.
And this goes. Oh, another thing with indie wrestling, Metro Pro just started doing this with some guys. I used to go to another local one, Central States Wrestling, 8-9 years ago. When they bring in a big name, some of these companies will do a Q&A before the show.
Yes.
You can pay like an extra $10 or whatever it is and have a Q&A with the guests. And we had Christopher Daniels one time.
The Fallen Angel?
Yeah.
Wow. What happened?
Well, basically, what we were saying about the funny character is, and he makes a great point. It's almost an obvious point, but he says if you're a funny character, where if you're just always kind of a happy, funny, happy-go-lucky, something can happen to make you get serious against an opponent. That makes sense to your character. You can have that happen. On the flip side, if you're a serious character, you can't just suddenly be funny.
No.
So it's like, with Big Show as an example, why not make him the happy-go-lucky funny guy, but then if someone pisses him off, then he gets all serious? Because that can happen.
Yes.
I mean, there you go. It's
as simple
nice
as that.
and easy.
It's as simple as that. But one thing, and then this is the last thing we're going to talk about, because I don't want this to be way too long, although we've already, believe it or not, you have surpassed the overall record for longest interview. You have just set a new record, man.
Yay! Although I don't know, hopefully your viewers don't mind that, but
I might have to really I might have to really consider splitting these into fairly long parts, not too long, but just enough to, spread it out throughout the year. It might just be its own thing, you never know. But other than that,